Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the Ted Show. We are going to try this again with this very patient gentleman. I'm very excited to have Brian DeCall on the show today. We're going to talk about life and finance. You like to talk about finances? Well, we're going to talk about your financial health and wealth, and of course, entrepreneurship. Welcome back, Brian. How are
Thank
you?
you. Thank you. I'm doing great on this Thursday. It's a beautiful day in Florida.
It's gorgeous, right? The weather is beautiful. I sat outside for a few minutes today, didn't sweat. It was awesome.
Exactly.
All right. So, we all love origin story on the show. The audience always likes to get to know you. And so tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
Absolutely, Ted. Well, it's first of all an honor to be here, and I thank you for allowing me to be on the show. Just a little bit about myself. I was actually born in North Carolina, but I've pretty much been raised in Florida all my life. So I consider myself, born and raised Floridian, kind of like my wife, right? But actually went to school here locally. I had aspirations earlier in my life to basically be in the medical field. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, and I was going through the program. I had the scholarships, the Bright Futures, and all of that was great. But when I was going through the classes and just some of the things that were going on, I was like, hey, do I really want to go to school for another 10 to 12 years?
The commitment, right?
Yeah, that commitment, I made a commitment to my wife, but that's something else. But it just wasn't for me. So, I actually dropped out. Parents weren't too excited about that. But hey, you got to figure out what you want to go and do in life. You only have one life to live, right? So I left that, actually started working in IT, loved, working in IT, helping computers, network servers, televisions, loved doing that, loved helping people work their technology, and helped a company do some great things. But I fell into kind of like a slump when I was in 23, 24, just kind of couldn't figure out what was out there for me or what did I want to do. And in 2012, I actually had a very low point in my life where I was thinking about actually committing suicide at that time. And, it was one of the most trying times in my life, just because I didn't really know why I was thinking that or what was going on. It was just like, I love to eat, right? I'm a foodie. The food wasn't tasting good. I love to hang out. Hanging out wasn't, and it just like life was going in the same circle rat race. And, I'm a believer. I believe in faith, family, finance, and fitness and fun. And, I prayed to the Lord, asking for an opportunity, Ted. And not even a week later, my girlfriend at the time, Alexia, who's now my wife, she called me up at work, and I was like, hey, is everything all right? I'm at work right now. I can't take any calls because, when you work a job, you can't really do much, right? You're limited. And so she's like, hey, don't worry. That's not a problem. I'm just calling you to let you know I found an opportunity for you. It's in the financial industry. I know you're pretty good with numbers. You go check it out, but I don't want to check it out. I'm not good with numbers. And, I went there, checked it out, Ted. But the thing that I learned is in that 1 hour financial seminar, right? And I wasn't like I was an idiot or dumb or anything like that. I only really knew how to work for money, but never knew really how to have money work for me. And so
Right.
that
completely different. That's powerful.
Yes, it is. So I went to that 1 hour semester of seminar, and that 1 hour pretty much changed my whole outlook on money and how it grows and taxes, all these things. I was like, man, if I truly want to become successful, or if I want to be free in America, right? Because we're a capitalist society, right? I got to learn how these things actually operate. And so I kind of just fell in love with it, Ed, and I've been in the industry for almost, this is my 8th year now.
So what is it that we get trained? I guess we're trained to save money and work, but I love what you said. You want the money to work for you. So talk a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people think I'm going to work my 30 years. It's still that old school thing. Retire, get the gold watch. There should be a pension for me. And so much of that just does not happen in real life anymore.
Yes, sir. No, that's absolutely true. And I'm not knocking our public school system at all, but our public school system is not designed to necessarily teach us, how taxes work, how credit scores work, how credit works, how to leverage it, how to be an entrepreneur, how to get deductions and things like that. And so when we grow up and we go to school, what do we learn about, Ted? We learn about sex education, some history, not all history, all this other math, all these things, but we're not really learning life skills. Like we deal with money from what I know I've been handling money since I was about 12, 13 years old, right? And I'm going to manage it and, work with it for the rest of my life. But we never get taught how to actually work with those things. So we get taught how to work for money, as Robert Kiyosaki would say, but we never learn how to have that money work equally as hard as we are. And it starts with that financial education, that basic financial education. I've helped, hundreds and hundreds of families throughout my 8 years of experience. And I found that most people just lack a basic financial understanding. And it's very crucial to actually, having a successful life and actually being able to enjoy your life.
I agree, but I think a lot of people are thinking out there, all right, Brian, I like what you said, which I do too. But what's my first step? What do I do? So can you give us maybe an idea of, all right, I want to take control of it? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're taking control over money and how money is in your life and your finances. So I'm taking control. I'm going to listen to Brian. What's a first step or two that they need to do?
Absolutely. Well, the first step is number one step is you got to get financially educated. You got to get that basic financial education. So there are many books out there right now, but one book I would recommend that's very basic entry level is How Money Works, right? It's called Stop Being a Sucker. When you go to the bank, you get the dumb lollipops and the suckers. It's actually a big thing behind it. And this was written by Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold, very pioneers in our industry. And that's going to teach you basically about cash flow, what's coming in, what's going out, how to reduce and get your debt paid off, how to make sure you have proper protection. A lot of families have their benefits through the workplace, but what happens when you leave the workplace? Or in 2020, companies are going down, left and right? Bankruptcy, they're closing up doors. So making sure you have the ownership outside of that, building wealth. Most people know, right, Ted? You probably know your height and weight, your date of birth. You probably know your spouses and all that stuff. But the question is, do we know our FIN number, our financial independence number, basically how much money we need to accumulate by retirement age? And it could be any age. It doesn't have to be 65. Most people say 65 because that's when they're going to get their Social Security benefits. And we know how that's working out these days, not going out too well, right? And so you got to know what that is so we can actually reverse engineer. So if you know how much money you need, let's just say at 60, we can reverse engineer it to see how much money you need to save, what type of interest rates you need to be looking at to accomplish that goal. So it's not just a one-time thing, right? If you were to go to the doctor, obviously, if you got a sickness or something that was going on, you won't just get one doctor's opinion, will you? No, you're going to probably go get 2 or 3 to make sure it's the right diagnosis, right? And then the last area, Ted, is making sure that you preserve that wealth, making sure that the businesses, the homes, assets, the accounts that you accumulate, right, is being able to get passed on to the next generation, building that generational wealth. And you see so many families, Prince. We had a recent individual, the individual that played in, what was the movie? Black Panther, Chadwick, right? He didn't have a will set up, right? And so those things have to go through probate. And what happens? That means money's going off to other places, going to taxes. So, when you think about taxes is one of the most things we ever pay on in our lifetime. It's ridiculous if you actually calculate it. Right? When you get paid, you pay taxes. When you buy something, taxes. When you pass away, taxes, right? So if we can help reduce or mitigate your taxes like the wealthy do, which they do, right?
Yeah,
therefore, you have more money for your family. And so we start off with where you are now, right? Get a snapshot. And, for me, at the time when I was just looking at my finances, all I could save was $20 at the time, Ted. $20. That was it. And they didn't laugh at me. They didn't kick me out the door like some of these other companies if you don't have multiple 6 and 7 figures saved up, right? And they said, hey, we're going to show you a basic plan and we're going to show you where you want to be later. And if you stick to that plan, we do adjustments, we do checkups, you can really have that financial future that you desire. So it is a possibility. But first, you got to get financially educated.
So let's talk about the $20 and the protecting the assets. I think that doesn't get talked enough about. So I believe there's many ways, but the first way I always think of is your life insurance and how you are protecting or building, depending on the vehicle and all of that. But a lot of people are don't know that some of their policies at work don't go with them. They're not portable. They're not. A lot of them aren't convertible. There's all these different words, which is why what Brian is saying is so important. You want to educate yourself on what you actually have. When I'm still licensed, and when I teach the insurance stuff, people will always talk about how they have it at work. I've got it at work. All right, guys, listen. You might have it at work, but how many of you actually know how much it is? And if you get laid off or the company goes under, where does that money go? And what if you're then 63 in your plan to age 65 and you're uninsurable? Then you can't get any additional insurance. So the stuff that Brian, and I'll let you elaborate, but the stuff that you're talking about there is where I think these people really, really, really need to get educated on what their actual benefits are and how they can get them to work for them. Like you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I didn't even know you were in the industry, Ted, but we definitely got to talk after this. But I would say, when you're working at the workplace, most of those programs are group programs, right? And so that's whatever the company is going to offer, that's what you get. But just because they offer it doesn't mean it's catered to your family and your needs. You got to know what your needs are, right? So we would first, want to gather and do what we call a dime. If you're looking to get some coverage, we look at your debt and liabilities, right? Usually the industry standards, 10 years of your income, right? Minimum, right? Mortgage and education fund for the children. So that's called your dime. So you look at that to see where's a general basis of where to start. And then from there, you look at either looking at some term or temporary coverage, or you look at permanent. Both have its areas, right? It just depends on where you are. But what a lot of people don't understand these days, though, Ted, is now you have living benefits. And I'm just going to hit on this really quick. Living benefits, we call it LB. It's only been in the industry for maybe the last 10 years, right? And living benefits, guys, stands for what? If you were to get a chronic, critical, terminal illness, disability, you can now get money from your life insurance coverage that can pay for anything. It's tax-free money that you can use. And I'll just tell you about this. Last year, right, I was 31 years old. I'm 32 now. I was actually diagnosed with stage 3 mediastinal germ cell cancer. So basically, it's a rare form of testicular cancer that, grows in the growing area for the men, but it was growing inside my chest area. So basically, I had tumors on my heart, lungs, and intestine, right? And I've been healthy as an ox, never really gotten sick, never had to go to the hospital. And then all of a sudden I wake up a couple of days, I'm having trouble breathing. I'm having trouble in my back. I'm having sharp pains. And I'm like, this is not normal. And literally, Ted, if I didn't go to the hospital, my wife rushed me there to get emergency surgery. Now I have an incision right in my chest area. I would not be here today.
Wow.
And so, going through that treatment, it really opened up my eyes to see that, hey, I'm thankful and I'm blessed that I understand and have the proper coverages in place. But there was many people in the hospital that were still going to work, Ted. I'm talking about 8 hours a day and doing chemo, right? And I'm not sure if you know anybody that's gone to chemo. That's a life and death struggle every day, getting pumped full of medicine every single day. I look good now. I wish I could show you a picture of my first day out of the surgery. I was basically on ICU. I needed help breathing, hooked up to tubes, right? It was really one of those crazy, shocking stories. And I'm so thankful that my family and friends, they helped me out in that position, right? And the Lord has blessed me, right, with health. But having those things in place, I didn't have to worry about, hey, what's going to happen with my finances? What's going to happen with the bills? What's going to happen with, everything that I have? What's going to happen to my wife, right? At that time, I was getting my will set up, but I didn't get it set up in time. And then when they were going and talking to me, the nurses and physicians are like, hey, do you have a will, a last testament? Do you have a power of attorney for financials and health? And I was just learning about that, right? And, as soon as I got out of the hospital, that's the first thing I did, is because if you don't have those things set up and you're 18 years or older, who takes care of you?
Exactly.
Right? Who takes care of you? It's not in legal documentation, written, signed, and notarized. The family that you think, hey, your wife is supposed to take care of your husband, that's not going to happen. It's on whoever's in the facility, the state, right? And that's the crazy thing.
It's I didn't know that about your story. I'm thankful that you are here. So that's an amazing story, and that's usually like when you get your wake up call. You already had it, but that's a
Yes.
wake up call to anyone. And what I think is so important about what you said is that you didn't die, but you still could have lost your job. You
Yes.
could have had no income coming in. What
Yes.
happens, I think a lot of people think, well, I'm going to work till I die, and then when I die, they can have what my life insurance. But
Yeah.
if you get super sick and lose your job because you can't go to work, or you're going through
Sure.
chemo, or you're in treatment of some kind, trust me, guys, you're going to be wanting to have that living benefit. And then guess,
Yes.
if you lose your insurance at work, then guess what? You don't have the life insurance anyway. And now you're sick and going through something. So there are
Yes.
so many reasons why what Brian is saying is so accurate, because you have to educate yourself. Now, I'll ask one last question. Because I've been in the industry for so many years, I understand this. Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
God, all Brian, if I talk to Brian or reach out to Brian, all I'm going to get is a sales pitch. I know
Yeah.
that's not true, but I want to throw that at you. I want you to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about just a couple minutes and tell us, what's that
Absolutely.
process like? Not every salesperson is a salesy person.
Yes. Yes. I understand that. You have to understand, Ted, when I got in the industry, I was 24 years old. I was broke mentally. I was broke financially. I had no purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to be, who I wanted to, grow up as. So I had no sense of direction. I had no vision. And when you have no vision, you have no clarity. But when you do have vision, that's when the pain starts disappearing, because now you can kind of build that life that you want. And so what happens is, when typically in the financial industry, yes, you do have people in there that are not looking out for your client's best interests. As a licensed professional, I'm licensed in 10, 15 states, and I'm also about to get licensed in Canada. We have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's in the best interest of our clients. That means, ladies and gentlemen, I'm myself, Ted, whoever's helping you, doesn't matter who it is, they have to do whatever's in the best interest for you. Or what happens is, what? Securities exchange can come after them, insurance commissions, right? You can lose your license, you can go to jail. So it's not something that, it's not a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is very
Correct.
serious. We take what we take very serious, because I treat every individual that I talk to, even if it's not a client, they don't decide doing anything with me, as if it was my first time. Like when I walked in the door, I had no clue what was going on. So we want to make sure we go through everything step by step, not leaving anything to chance. We don't want to leave anything to chance. So we're going to go down. First, we're going to get to know you a little bit. We're going to build some rapport. We're going to make a connection, right? I got to see what you're looking to accomplish. Even if I can even help you, I don't even know if it's a guarantee I can help, right? Then from there, we're going to build that foundation, because you can't just make recommendations, say, hey, yeah, you need this and you need that and you need that. But there's got to be a basis on why we're making these recommendations. So we're going to give you a plan to show you why we're doing that. And then we're going to show you, hey, this is what you're doing now. This is what we can help you improve. If you want it, we're going to help you. If not, there's no obligation. But I know, though, Ted, and being in the industry, they don't get anything set up. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be in the same position 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. There was people when I first got started and I shared information with them. I was like, hey, I'm learning new things. I think it could help you. Those people are still in the same position that they were 8 years ago, Ted. And now me, being a business owner, right? I'm a broker. I'm in a totally position in life right now. Now I'm talking to new people. I'm in different areas, right? To basically expand my network and to make sure that, everybody's getting that help. And one thing we want to talk about as in 2020, there's a lot of crazy things going on. You got the COVID crisis going on, the financial markets going on. There's so many things going on. A lot of people are not working, 40 million people, right? And it's a time for shifting. It's a time to keep open-minded. There's lots of things going on behind the scenes outside of what the news is sharing with you. So you could literally right now, 2020 could be the best year like it is for me, probably for you too, Ted, but it could also be the worst year depending on how your mind portrays that, right? It's what you're thinking, right? Your mindset. So you can be taking it as, hey, everything's not working well. life's not going great, or you can take this situation and pivot, right? And think of it, and what can I learn, right? What can I learn? What can I build? What type of habits, skills can I learn through this process? And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, if you are saving for your future, ladies and gentlemen, you want to remember this. You want to make sure that you get guarantees on your money. And you can get guarantees on your money, right? Money grows. I'm going to go over three things. Money grows three ways. It grows fixed, variable, and indexed. Fixed accounts are what? Your savings, your CDs, right? Your money markets. You're going to get a guaranteed interest. It's going to be very low. It's not going to go up. It's not going to go down, right? But if you understand it, when you have your money in the bank, what are we getting as far as interest rates in the bank these days, Ted? Any idea?
It's so low, I don't even know if it's existing.
It's very low, right? It's less than 1%. And if you guys understand what the rule of 72 is, that means how long it takes your money to double for you, right? A good or bad, right? Positive or negative. So if you're getting 1% on your money in the bank, 72 divided by 1 means every 72 years, your money's doubling for you. So most people say, hey, the rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. Why is that? Yes, we know the wealthy are making more money. Yes, we understand that. That's a no-brainer. But they also understand how money works. They know how to leverage money as a tool. They're mastering that tool. And for most Americans, money is mastering them. They're going to work, right? 9 to 5. They call it the 40-40-40. You work for 40 years of your life for 40,000 or a little bit more for 40 hours, a week, to live off 40% of that.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
It's scary. So, it's scary for most people.
Yeah.
Which is why you talking about education is just so critical, because that's what it's about, guys. Like, Brian's obviously passionate about what he does. That's the kind of advisor, I don't even know what the new terminology is because I haven't practiced in so long, but advisor, that's what somebody that you want in your corner talking about how you can build your wealth, maintain your wealth, and grow.
Yes.
That's who you want. You want somebody passionate who's not just trying to sell you a product.
Yes.
All right. So, Brian, how do we reach you? What's the best way? I have lots of people asking me on the side. So tell us how. I've got the website there. Tell us if that's the best way, how they can reach you.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I do have a website that you can go on and you can learn a little bit more about, what I do to help, individuals, business owners. I'm just to let you know, I help the 95%. Who is the 95%? It's people like you, myself, and Ted. We're middle Americans. We're the ones that are getting left behind right now. Number one, concern right now in America is financial literacy. And so if you like the information that's on there, you can also text or call me. I'll give you my phone number. And Ted, if you can put in the chat, that'll work as well. It's 407-575-0027. And we can set up a time. I have a scheduler. Now you have virtual assistants now that can do it. We can schedule up a time, 15-minute phone call, 30-minute phone call, just to see where you're at, give you some information. Well, if I can help you, like I said, I'll help you. If I can, I can. If you don't want to call, if you're feeling a little shy on the phone, you can send me an email, right? My email address is Brian S, as in Sam, DeCall, my last name, @gmail.com. Email me. I usually try to get together with people within 12 to 24 hours. I do work by appointments. I am very busy. I do talk to a lot of people, but we schedule it in. We can get together and make sure we can get you on track because, nobody should have to work 60, 65 years of their life and then not be able to enjoy, the golden years of retirement. The golden dream is to what? You work for a little while, right? You save up some money and then you live off that for the rest of your life. But nowadays in America, most people are not retiring. When's the last time anybody ever went to a retirement party? I know growing up.
No more gold watches.
Exactly. It's at home watching. You're watching it, right? We're watching TV instead of making it happen. So I know when I was younger, people were retiring, right? Baby boomers were retiring. Now it's not happening because things are shifting. And so you just got to be aware of the times. Imagine if you were Blockbuster in 2020, right? Imagine if you were Blockbuster in 2020. They're out of business. Who's in business now? Netflix, right? Who's number one as far as retail services online? Amazon, right? So things are shifting. So you just got to be aware of the shift And unfortunately, you have to accept it and you got to work with it. But you just got to put yourself in a position where you can win, right? You want to be in a position where you can win and have success. So those are some areas that you can get a hold of me. Also, too, guys, Ted, I'm gonna send you one of these books.
All
I know
right.
you know all of this, but I just want you to have it, just like a resource. So that way, if anybody asks you, hey, what's some books to read? I read a lot of books. I have plenty. As you guys can see, I have many books behind me, right? We specialize in talking about helping people save and retire tax-free. There's many things that we can do. So just get aware of your options, guys, and you choose what's the best for you, right?
And reach out to Brian. All right, man. That's see, I told you, you have great journey. I didn't know any of that. So I'm very, very happy you came on the show. That was
Thank you,
excellent
sir. It was a pleasure.
information. Guys, don't delay. Don't delay. Talk to someone. And obviously, Brian's a good person. You can talk to him. All right, guys. We'll check you out later. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Great.